Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, for you, we have the first playoff game on the stream. We have in the major playoffs, we have for you today Blaze versus Otakus. And today, I'm very, very happy to say that I'm here today with Hypheria by my side. And Hypheria, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty hyped. The first series of the playoffs, it's always going to be a banger and an intense series.
And this really sets the tone for the rest of the day. You really want to get into a proper groove already, and I'm so incredibly hyped. This is obviously what everybody has been playing towards pretty much the entire season, so I really cannot wait to get this one underway.
For sure, and I'm pretty sure we can get some stats up for you, but some interesting things about these two teams. Also, you've got Blaze, who did finish first place in the league with 53 wins, but Otakus, they may have finished fourth, but they only finished 3 wins behind Blaze. And interesting fact for you, in their last week games, they lost to Megumin Colt 3-1, but it was with a challenger sub. So, if they had that main roster player, they could have, the series could have gone a different way and their seeding could have been completely different.
Honestly, I like this. I like that there's a little bit of a seemingly underdog, which isn't that much of an underdog. I always love that kind of story. And Otakus, they're definitely not out just yet. Blaze, they might be looking a little bit stronger, but in reality, it's always Rocket League, and it always comes down to that pivotal moment. How are you going to be feeling when you're put under pressure? And that is exactly what they are right now. You're being put under a massive amount of pressure now. It being playoffs, well, thus you're not necessarily out, but you're not in a great position at that point.
Oh, for sure. I do not disagree with that. But just by looking at these stats, you can tell that Blaze do have that, the highest goals scored against Otakus and even the least goals conceded as well. So, Blaze really showing to the league that that's why they're in that first position. They have that offensive pressure. And also on top of that, they have that defense. They have that consistent rotation. But I must point out the shooting percentage is very similar from these, both top 4 teams.
Yeah, so shooting percentages is always something that gets struggled with in the lower-ish ranks. Well, lower-ish ranks not being professional players, because this is still a pretty decent rank, being GC1 to GC2, if I do remember correctly. So it's always pretty difficult to shoot at that seemingly tiny target every single time. And that is going to be plaguing them probably in this series as well. It all comes down to that accuracy. Whichever team can be more accurate is most likely going to take the victory here.
For sure. And if we could move over to the player stats, I have something for you for there as well. On the Blaze side, I do believe Felix is second for player of the season. As you can just see from his stats, an all-round player, 74 goals, 63 assists, and 108 saves. He's got that win percentage, he's got that shooting percentage, it's just in that average area. But Felix definitely looking like that, that star player for Blaze.
You always need that one kind of player who just massively steps in and says, hey, if anything's going bad, I'll take the entire team on my back and we'll just grind our way out of there. And Felix, he could be the difference maker right now if it really needs to be. And it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure here.
For sure, and as we see on the Otaku side, we have a Drum Hunter leading the team with the goals and the saves, not just one stat. He's up there for goals and saves, so I'm expecting Drum Hunter to be that player on the field who can be any position, he can perform and put up a fight. But, I mean, if we're being honest, Hypheria, Blaze may be that first-seeded team, but when it comes to playoffs, anything can happen, and you can be first on paper, but it doesn't mean you're going to win.
It doesn't mean jack whatsoever. It really, honestly, it's up in the air when it's playoffs. Everything goes down the drain, especially with what you mentioned that, well, they played a game without their main roster. That is going to be the difference. But you know what? I always have enough of talking early on because I just want to see this go underway, and that is exactly what's going to be happening. All the players are joining up. Blades versus Otaku is underway. The first game of the playoffs, and here we go. Kickoff happening right now. Felix and Stino's kicking us up 5 minutes on the clock as usual, and it's already Drum Hunter off to a decent start, getting into the Blaze side, putting on the pressure. Not really succeeding just yet, and I'm expecting a little bit of pulling and tugging early on.
Oh, for sure. I'm expecting these two teams to be on fire. I don't want no game 1 warm-up. I want both teams to come out blazing. Not pun intended.
I'm sure it wasn't a pun intended. You're just completely biased towards the opposing side. Now, Felix, you had A little bit of a mistouch, Drum Hunter, not quite able to, and now his shot comes in. That is that accuracy that I'm talking about. It's just off the post. Drum Hunter has a second go, also wide of the target. And it seems as if Otakus are currently the better team in putting on pressure, not necessarily in converting though.
Blaze do have that extra shot over on the Otakus already, so Blaze definitely showing to be a bit more confident on that offensive side. But Otakus, they're putting up a great fight and really proving that they can take on this team so far in the first minute.
Yeah, proving that you can put on pressure and actually scoring are two completely different things, and they are going to have to prove that they have the ability to actually put it into the back of the net now, as well as Bonesy off to the backboard. Nobody there to try and capitalize on it when it gets popped back in towards the center. A little bit of space given by Blaze towards the Otaku side. That could be absolutely fatal. Not quite now though, as Bonesy still is able to put on the pressure when Shiraz is able to get it out.
Yeah, the ball does seem to go back and forth. Both teams having their bit of possession. It's just going to be the first team to break the ice. But as I say that, Felix nearly brings that first goal for Blaze.
So you could just get the circus started as soon as one goal falls. Mickey looking for the pinch, not getting anywhere with it. Unfortunate. No shot coming in from Shiraz either, and it's really both teams slacking on the accuracy right now. Not putting shots on target whatsoever. Mickey down the line, he goes, rips a shot. That might just be on target. Bozy makes a phenomenal save. Steeles has another go though, and finds himself a pretty much open net, able to convert Otakus. It was coming in, they're 1-0 up.
Was a well-placed shot from Mickey Boy, but the save from Bonesy was phenomenal. But when you get great saves like that, it's not the easiest to recover. And obviously, Stenos does find the first goal for Otakus. And just something for the chat, Stenos was actually a minor and was promoted up to major throughout the season. So he's definitely, putting up a performance. But as I say that, Stenos, again, with the second goal for Otakus.
Oh my. They're really going now. It's really proven that seeding don't matter when you go into the playoffs because, well, if you know you're through to the playoffs as well, why really try hard every single time, right? You can just take a little bit of a backseat, and Otakus, they're not taking a backseat in this game. They're going at it, all guns a-blazing. They have to keep up their game, though, as the miss comes in. Bonesy might just put one on target and one trickle down in towards the center. Well, it is more threatening out of Blaze now.
Yeah, we do see Otakus are coming out strong, but Blaze, you can't doubt them. They are that #1 seed, so they're definitely capable to bring 2 goals back with just over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, there's plenty of time yet. Well, they've not really shown that much as a phenomenal mistake. No! A phenomenal mistake times 2. Okay, Steeno still comes in from behind, but that was not great. The miss out of Mickey Boy when he had so much time. Well, that is still a 3-goal lead now.
Luckily for Mickey Boy, Stenos was there to, recover for his mistake and finds himself a hat-trick in just over 3 minutes. We already have a hat-trick from a player.
Yeah, and that was that one player that we said might just show up. It's not Felix, it's actually going to be Stenos on the side of Otaku. And well, I think Drum Hunter was the top of the scoreboard. Maybe Stenos wants to get up there as well, wants to prove his worth. But obviously, this is only the first game of a best of 5. Still plenty of time for Blaze to also get into it more. Not even out of in this game, they really can make that comeback. It's going to be incredibly difficult for them, though.
Yeah, the comeback will definitely be a struggle, but I must say, Blaze not really putting up the best performance that we expected. But, it is game #1. Maybe it may be their warm-up game, but in a playoff stage like this, every game really matters.
Yeah, first game is always that little bit of a warm-up, trying to see what the opponent is playing at, how aggressive they're being, and then try and capitalize and counter that. But in playoffs, you want to come out of the gates as strong as possible. You don't want to drop that first game and then say, oh yeah, no, but we've got them figured out now, because you don't really have that much room for error anymore. That margin of error is completely decimated if you lose that first game. Well, it's Otakus. They are looking to put on an offense once again. Drum Hunter, can he get it past Shiraz and Felix? Oh, it's a good block by Shiraz. Mickey Boy should still be able to come in. And I thought Mickey was going to miss it again, but he does convert.
Third time is the charm for Mickey Boy. Doesn't miss that one. He does find himself his first goal. And Otakus do go 4-0 up in the game #1. And, I mean, it is doable for the comeback, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah, it was something that we cannot really expect to be happening. And well, Mickey, you might have trouble scoring, but he's been absolutely phenomenal in the setting up department. A great wingman. This could just be the first goal. For Blaze right now, it's not even about coming back. It's more about putting on some pressure and letting them know that they're here. And they're putting on pressure. No conversion just yet. And that is such a pivotal part if you want to go into that second game. It's just Otaku steamrolling right now. Blaze have got to put a foot in the door.
Stenos really showing up. Game number 1, he's already put in 4 goals in the back of the net. This is the player that moved up from the minor division, and he's really proving that he should be in this major skilled division, and he's really putting up a show.
And that is what you want as well. You always have those people who say, oh, no, but I am this rank, but I deserve to be such a higher rank. And, well, Stenos, I guess he is very much proven that. It's showing up absolutely massive. And, well, what we said earlier has just been confirmed with 5 goals in 15 seconds. It's not really mathematically going to happen, is it? And we will hop into that second game, and the Otakus take this victory.
Yeah, I must say, I'm a little bit upset from Blaze, even if it is game number 1 and they are warming up. When you're that number 1 team, you shouldn't be losing 5-0 in that first game because the other team are warming up as well. But maybe Otakus, maybe they just have better scrim practice before the series.
Yeah, maybe they're just warmed up a little bit more, and then Blaze, if they're not warmed up whatsoever, which, it being currently 4 in the afternoon, if you're a BST, British time, you think you'd have plenty of time to actually try and warm up, get something going, because otherwise it might just be dinner and then all that kind of shenanigans. You really have the time to warm up, and Blaze, they really do not seem warmed up. Otakus had a little bit of a struggle initially as well, putting the goal into the back of the net. But it's worked out a lot better for them.
Oh, for sure. In this game number 2, I'm really hoping and expecting Blaze, to reform as a team, come back, and hopefully show some moments of why they're in that number 1 position. Bring those team plays and maybe even solo plays that bring them on top in their series. But do want to point out, as you can see on the screen, we do have the new overlays, and as you can see, they are very clean and very fire. As we do see, Stenos, 4 goals with 5 shots, and he was really that star player in game number 1.
Yeah, that star player coming in massive right here. Now Felix needs to show his guts a little bit as well. He needs to show up and going to prove that there's not only 1 star player on the pitch, there are 2, and they're both playing on an opposing side. Now we're going to have to see game number 2 underway. Mickey Boy and Felix, 5 minutes on the clock once again. It just keeps on being the same, never really changes. And it's once again Otakus up to a phenomenal start. Felix makes a save, but it's still Otakus looking to put on the pressure. Drum Hunter might just catch it. Oh, what a lovely catch, just breaking the ankles right there. And Otakus, they continue what they started in the previous game.
Otakus just don't stop. They've got that momentum from game number 1. And Drum Hunter will find his first goal of this series, taking the lead for Otakus in game number 2, 1-0.
And so Otakus, they're just taking the victory, at least early on. Can they actually set this through as Blaze? They're just coming in with misses left, right, and center. Mickey Boy, last man, gets a hit out to the side, wasting time for his teammates to respawn and go and get some boost. 2 defenders back should be good enough. Stenos, make sure that 1 does the job perfectly. Puts in a good challenge. Mickey Boy, can he out his speed? Sure, as he very much can. Won't capitalize on the goal.
Otaku's just keeping this possession onto the Blazers' half, and I must say, we're not really seeing any offensive pressure come from this Blaze side, and they don't really seem to be at that top performance that they've been throughout league.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to see that, but you have such a massive difference in league play that you don't really have that much pressure. Right here, it's 1 loss, and you're in the loser bracket and having a terrible time. 1 more loss after that and you're out completely. So a little bit more pressure gets put on the players, and they want to do well, which usually leads to them doing actually worse than they usually would. I feel like in an opportunity might get something going for his team. It's a good save out of Stenos, puts it out to the side, and there's still plenty of time to try and make this comeback with Blaze. They are gonna have to start going soon.
Blaze do need to start something. They haven't even found their first shot yet in game number 2. But as I say earlier on, Blaze just not performing to the best they can. You got to give credit to the Otakus. They're definitely coming out strong, and they are looking like a solid team so far.
And always with a team not showing up massively or not showing up like they usually play out, Felix with a shot gets saved by Drum. There's always that other side of, well, yeah, but Otakus are also playing absolutely out of their minds right now, capitalizing on every single opportunity that gets brought to them. And then it kind of is up to Blaze to show that same form, kind of start showing up as well. Bonesy might just do that here. It throws off the entire opposition. Stino's still with a clear out. Drum Hunter pops it up. Mickey Boy won't be opting to go for it. Now Felix can't get a second touch. Awkward in towards the center. Plenty of time for the clear out, but Drum just throws it away.
And Otaku's holding their lead. You know, Blaze not really making anything threatening onto the Otaku side, but it's only 1-0. So, you know, just one goal from Blaze and they do find themselves back into it. You only have just over 2 minutes to go, so this is still anyone's game.
Now, the start, it seemed very dire already, but now Bonesy might just have it 1v1. Mickey Boy makes the save, just not a good enough shot right now. But at the start, it very much looks very bleak, very dire for the Blaze side once again with that early goal. Stinos, it's just wide, but it's still a good shot. The mechanics really flowering through out of Stinos, showing it every single time here.
Yeah, Blaze definitely putting up a better performance than they did in game number 1, but it's still not enough to take this lead onto Otaku's. Otaku's putting a solid, dominant performance onto the Blaze side for now. But Blaze, you know, they're going to show their fight. And the beautiful passer play, the shot from Shaw, it nearly goes in.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, there's still so much pressure on the side of Otakus. They're really scrambling to try and get this one out. Another pass in field, nobody there to pick it up. And the waterfall that seemed endless has been stopped for now. Blaze, they've been put on hold. 1 minute, they can't really leave that on hold for too long. Otakus, obviously, they're going to be completely happy with no goal happening. It's Blaze who's really hunting for it, and they're looking threatening while they're doing it.
That little moment that Blaze had, they need more of that if they want to find themselves a chance to bring them back in it, because the passing from that team is just one player to another and back to the third man in that middle position. If we see more of that from Blaze, they can definitely find themselves a goal and maybe even take a game in the series.
Yeah, taking a game in the series, who really cares about that if you do end up losing in the end? It's all about getting the entire series victory. And it's looking as if they might just go 2-0 down in reverse sweep territory as Mickey rips another shot and he's found his accuracy, baby. Here we go. Otakus have put up a little bit of a safety net with 33 seconds. Once again, Blaze are in a very hard position.
A beautiful pass from Drum Hunter, taking that flip off the wall, getting that touch to Mickey Boy, and Mickey Boy will find himself a goal. 2-0 to Otakus with just 30 seconds to go. It is doable, but the way that Otakus are playing, I don't think Blaze are coming back.
Yeah, really not looking likely, but a bump might just happen. Bonesy is right there, but he just can't get a hit on Stinos. And then you put yourself out of position massively. Blaze, they're really coming in a little bit weak, but that is a good start. That is something. 11 seconds could just be enough.
As I say, Blaze aren't coming back. Bones is just like, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. I see the ball. I'm going for it. And he will find that first goal for Blaze. And that is actually the first goal for Blaze in the whole series.
I mean, that's standard, isn't it? Always when you think, oh, they're not coming back, that is exactly when they're putting in a goal. No demo, it's demo happening, but is that going to be enough? It might just open up some space. Infield pass, Shearers won't be able to get a touch. Stino's still panicking, but the ball touches the ground, and it's Otakus who get the victory in game number 2, putting themselves on match point.
Blaze definitely, were putting up a solid performance towards the end, but it just wasn't enough. We needed that from the beginning if Blaze did want to take game number 2. But Otaku's a solid and consistent performance from the whole team. But just to notice, it wasn't Stinos, stepping up in game number 2. He's having a little break. Game number 1 was all him. And in game number 2, we saw Drum Hunter and Mickey Boy really stepping up, bringing those passing plays and taking that win for Otaku's in game 2.
And the good thing about a player like Mickey Boy is that, well, he stepped up, but he never really absolutely loses his mind, but he also never really is completely at the bottom. Mickey Boy is really that solid rock in the team right now for Otakus. But that goal for Blaze is actually the first goal that they scored throughout this entire series. So 2 games of Rocket League, they've only managed to get 1 goal out there. They really need to get more, but at least it's the start. Heading into that 3rd game, Blaze have been showing better things. Now they have to actually bloom that, flower that out to a beautiful little lily.
Yeah, I do believe Otakus are now on match point, leading the series 2-0. So Blaze, this is their only chance. They cannot lose a single game in the series. They really need to step it up and bring it back and show that why they should stay in the upper bracket.
It's going to be interesting. Game number 3. It is a pivotal one right now for Blaze. Can they actually manage to keep something going that they had in the last game? An early goal would be absolutely detrimental. Drumhunter with a miss, actually. That could just create an opportunity out of Blaze. Shearers with a massive miss of the backboard. No recovery to put it into Felix. Felix is still right there, but there's nobody from Blaze actually putting on any pressure until it lands at Bonesy into Shearers. Gets blocked by Drumhunter, but still gets put in towards the center. Cenas gets in the way, beats out 2 defenders. Mickey Boy in a 2v1 situation. He has a Dominus massive flick, not coming through just yet. Drumhunter, he can't quite get the pass, so the Otakus managed to break out of the defense.
Blaze did come off strong in from the kickoff, but that didn't mean anything. They didn't find the shot that they wanted. But Otakus did come back on it. Bonesy with a great save, but Mickey Boy is going to follow through, and he does find the first goal for Otakus. And Blaze, they just cannot find that first goal.
Yeah, they're really struggling right now. It's not a great look for Blaze once again. Within that first minute, they are dropping a goal already. And if you look at the previous game, this just leads to worse and worse things. And they have it still plenty of time. They got a goal. Oh no, not like this. I mean, sure, Bonesy will very much take it, but the massive miss will lead to a goal and the equalizer at that for Blaze.
Drumhunter not finding that clear off the wall, but Bonesy is going to collect that goal for Blaze. And, you know, Blaze will take it. They'll take a goal that they can get because that will put them back at 1-1. So it's still anyone's game. But Blaze haven't leaded this game throughout the whole series once yet. So if we go from that, Otakus do take it. But Blaze, they could definitely prove us wrong.
And now another shot coming in. Shearers still not the accuracy, but Otakus, they are more like tacos right now because they always fall apart in my hands, and it's absolutely ridiculous what is going on that side right now.
The second I say that Blaze haven't taken the lead throughout the whole series, they just go do it 2 seconds after I say it, and it is Felix, the star player from the team that we say, and he does find that second goal for Blaze. And you know what? I'm really excited to see if Blaze do bring back this reverse sweep, but they got to take it game by game.
Yeah, they can't just think about the reverse sweep right now. As Otaku, I don't know what's going on their defensive side, as they're just letting everything run through. It's not even necessarily that Blaze are putting up that much pressure or anything. It's just those clears out are not good enough, simply.
Yeah, Otaku's defense is looking a little bit shaky. Maybe they're just not expecting Blaze to be in their half as they haven't been throughout the series. But Blaze, they are 2 goals up in the lead in game number 3. But Otakus, they've just got 3.5 minutes. They got plenty of time. They just got to regroup, and they can definitely bring their way back into it.
I really don't like how they're looking right now, though. And Breakout coming in through, but Felix still getting in the way of it. Everything is looking so insecure out of the Otaku side of all of a sudden. Bonesy, well, talk about insecurity. That is one as well, massively missing the ball on defense. Stenos gets a 50 onto the backboard. Nobody there to capitalize. Mickey out to the side he goes. Can he get a second touch? Maybe in towards the center. Double commit coming in. Drumhunter still with a shot. Felix has a good save on it, though.
Blaze definitely looking fired up as they do build this pressure to the Otaku side. They do for once have more shots than the Otakus, so it's definitely proving that, you know, having more shots, it does give them those more opportunities, and when they have that pressure, they do make it count. But Otakus, as we've said many times, they are starting to look a bit, you know, they're looking shaky, they're struggling a little bit, but can they reform?
It's just it clears out once again. They're not clearing the ball out properly. There's no man upfield, and they're just throwing it right back to Blaze, who are, I must say, positioning themselves perfectly for it. Shearers once again putting that back in towards the Otaku's half. Is there anybody there? Conversion on this ball is Felix and Drumhunter getting a 50 together, and Mickey whips it up. Oh, miss coming in through. That might have just actually been a goal because that miss was so uncharacteristic. It's both teams showing inconsistencies here.
Maybe both teams just, you know, they're just a bit shooken up. You know, Otaku's going into this at match point, and Blaze going into this, you know, they can't lose at all at no matter what the cost is. So maybe both teams, you know, feeling a little bit of pressure, you know, is that playoff game. And either one needs to win or lose. But as I say it, Bonesy is going to grab the 4th goal for Blaze, and it will extend their lead to 3.
Something that always can happen if you're 0-2 down and you have to reverse sweep. You might just say, you know what? We'll just go all out. Don't really think about what we're doing anymore, because obviously that's not working out. Let's just go all out and see what happens. And it's working out perfectly for them, and they're getting a lot of pressure going. And if they can just completely demoralize Otakus by tearing them apart, it could just spell a reverse sweep. As sure as that would have been one hell of a way to show that they are the dominant team here. Not quite able to convert it though, and with 1.5 minutes, it is looking bleak. But this time for the Otaku side.
Yeah, we've not seen Otaku's been this far, behind in the game. 3 goals down. They've always been in the lead throughout the series. This is the first time they are losing towards the end. But, Otaku's, they're most likely just going to look for the consolation goals and try regain that mentality going into game number 4.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for them, but Otaku's, they have just given up the hardest game for Blaze to win in a reverse sweep. That first game is always going to be so incredibly difficult. You're in a terrible position, and then you all of a sudden have to actually win one, and then you know that you have to win 2 after that as well. It's such a difficult position, and they've just took this game by a storm.
Yeah, I must say it. Just in the defense, it looks like a little bit that Otaku's a bit hesitant, as we saw that double commit when they had plenty of time to get that clear. So maybe Otaku's, the pressure is really getting to them, and they're just hesitating on these clears that they should easily be taking control of.
You could start overthinking just a little bit too much, where you don't really know what's going on. You are a little bit afraid, and everything you've been doing doesn't seem to be working out. But in reality, you've just been a little bit slower than you were in the previous games, a little bit less daring, because you are that close to closing out this series, sweeping number 1 seed. And then you start doubting yourself. Then you start thinking we're in a position where we shouldn't really be. And now Blaze have pulled one back and have laid the foundation of a reverse sweep.
Yeah, they do complete the first step, but can they carry it on throughout the series? We shall find out. But Blaze really stepping up their performance. That's the first time we've seen in the series where they've really shown up to the game. They've had those shots. They had 16 shots as a team, and Otaku's only had 4. So Blaze really had that possession on the offensive side. But, the shooting percentage wasn't the best, but it did work out in the end.
Yes, and that all comes back to Otaku's not actually being able to clear it out of the defensive side. They were struggling to get it further than that midfield, and then you have an absolute barrage of shots going your way pretty much the entire time. Blaze just putting shot after shot after shot on target. Absolutely no way for Otakus to deal with it, or at least not that they've shown, and they're going to have to show that in this 4th game, because if Blaze managed to get a match point with them being the favourites, I don't know how they're going to be working up against that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell how this series is going to turn out. Otaku's, they had such a dominant performance, but Blaze, they've really shown up now. They're really proving why they're in that number 1 seed. And if Blaze can keep this going throughout the series, then Otaku's are going to have such a tough challenge. But they really need to reform and get back to that game 1 kind of play style, because in game number 1, Otaku's were all over Blaze, but it's game number 4. Only time will tell.
And hopefully it's more than a minute that passes without a goal happening for the side of Blaze, since they've conceded early on every single time, and especially in such a pivotal one. The last game they were able to regain themselves very nicely, but that was purely because Otaku's kind of messed up massively in defense so many times in a row. And Mickey able to get it out to the corner, 23 boost, should be able to get another touch indeed, but they're already looking to struggle out of that defensive side. Stinos helps them along very nicely though.
Yeah, as you comment about Otaku's, just being a little bit shaky in the defense, that is something they really need to fix up. And if you're going to have that shaky, scrambly defense, the other team at this kind of skill level, they're going to punish you for it.
Yeah, they're going to be so quick on that. Any miss, any opportunity that they can get, they will at least put on some pressure for later on. Now, Stinos can't quite get the pass. And that is 2-man out of position. Mickey Boy, once again, that is why he's that solid rock. He's just making sure that he's back on defense. Another miss on the backboard. Getting really hard to read. And Drum Hunter, I don't know what's going on with his car, but he's backflipping, he's stunting, and not in a good way.
I do believe this is the first game where neither team has scored in the first minute, so this could go completely different to what we've seen throughout the series.
Yeah, there's still not a goal that has been fallen just yet. Drumhunter able to get a touch. This is a good touch. Not necessarily. Felix has a relatively routine clear out. Mickey Boy getting beat by Felix off to the backboard. It's going to drop down. Stinos again for an intricate clear out. Not managing to get a hit on it. So Bonesy got bumped up very nicely, and now Felix is able to take control once again. The chance, the opportunity from Otakus, they've got many, but they're not converting on them whatsoever. They're not putting them in a decent position, and Otakus are looking shaky yet again.
Yeah, even though the Otaku's defense is shaky, as you say, they are somehow still holding on. But as I say it, Shires will collect that first goal for Blaze, opening that lead. Bonesy with the touch from the corner, and it does fall down to Shires. A great demo as well from Bonesy, and they're going to take that 1-0 lead.
That was a really good demo out of Bonesy. A little heads-up play, realizing that he won't be able to go for the shot himself in any situation. So just demo. Shires, important touch. Mickey Boy out to the side, able to get the clear. It's just they're once again playing from behind. Mickey with a massive boomer down the pitch. Not really effective. Yes, they get out of defense, but is it really something that they can build upon? Not quite yet, as they're just scrambling to get anything going right now.
Much credit to Blaze. They've definitely started to figure out the the little defense mistakes that Otakus are making, and they are making it into their advantage. And Otaku's just struggling to find this offensive pressure onto the Blaze side. And if they don't step it up, Blaze, they will take it away. But we can't count Otakus out. We've seen them take 2 games, so they can definitely find the third, even if they are 1-0 down.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the hardest position to be in with 2 minutes remaining, and Shire's not necessarily getting the greatest touch. But then Felix, he's just able to boom it down the pitch. Might be okay. Well, Stinos, it's a decent goal. It's a good read. It's the wrong goal though, lad. You want to be scoring that on the opposing side, and that gives a 2-goal lead for Blaze.
So unfortunate. Maybe he didn't expect that ball to drop down how it did. Stinos, he just wanted a goal so badly. He just thought to put one in the back of his own net. But that's going to put Blaze at that 2-goal lead, and Otakus, they really need to step things up if they want to take this series. But as I say, it's Shires. He's just going to prove me wrong and say, no, 2-goal lead is what you said, but a 3-goal lead is what we're going to make it.
Yeah, good infield pass, and Blaze are finally going. It's seeming as if it will be a game 5. Yes, there's still 2 minutes remaining, but is it really looking that likely that it's going to be a comeback out of the Otaku side? Not really, to be honest. They've not shown up whatsoever. They've got 2 shots on target in this entire game. 3 minutes of play, 2 shots. They're just not breaking out at the same pace. And Blaze, really credits to them being able to regain themselves and stop that pressure coming in.
Yeah, Blaze definitely do have the momentum on their side. Going 2-0 down in the series, and as soon as you win that game, you have that momentum to take game number 4, and that's exactly what they're doing. And if they win this one, the momentum shift that they're going to have in game number 5 is going to be a huge advantage over Otakus. When you're Otakus and you're 2-0 up and you're about to go for the reverse sweep, well, the reverse sweep going against you, it's going to put you, a bit shaky and a bit worried.
Yeah, and Otakus, they could just adopt that playstyle of, well, we've got nothing to lose. Good infield pass going towards Mickey Boy. No conversion as of right now, as Mickey Boy has another go. Felix with the save. Drumhunter, first responder to the ball. Bonesy staying solid on that goal line. Stinos now too slow on the flip, and they're still not able to get anything going. The massive difference right now is the ease that just got broken out with on the Blaze side. It just, the one attack was all that Otakus had, and they were in the opposing half for, what, 10-15 seconds or so, and then it was already a clear out from Blaze. They're doing absolutely amazing on every part of the pitch here.
For sure. And Shires, just by himself, he has 6 shots, and Otakus as a team, they have 5. So Shires really being that man to put that pressure on to the Otakus net. But Otakus, as we've seen in the last 2 games, including this one, their defense hasn't quite been there, and they really need to bring that back as they had it in game number 1.
And they could just go all out and try and get something going in this final game, but with 8 seconds left, that's not going to be happening in this current game. They've showed up a lot better in that latter half, though. In that latter, let's say 2 minutes, they've really been able to get some pressure going, and Well, is it going to be enough? That we're going to have to figure that out, obviously, in Game 5. There's so many things that we can say about it, but none of that will actually probably hold true unless we just say every single scenario, which in Rocket League is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, Blaze do complete step number 2 of the reverse sweep. They take it to game number 5, and the Otakus, in the games that they've lost, they've really struggled to even find a goal in the series of the 2 games that they've lost. And Otakus, going into game number 5, I'm a bit worried for them because Blaze, they're definitely getting stronger game by game.
It's looking a little bit scary now. Well, Blaze, they've been on the up and up. Are they actually going to be continuing that trend, or are they going to be burned out at some point? As we all know, fires at some point, they lose their fuel. Is that going to be right now in this current game? It's going to have to prove itself. Game number 5, always such a difficult one. You can make up so many reasons why the momentum would shift or would not shift, but as I already said, there's only one real way to figure that out. Blaze, they're on the verge of completing the reverse sweep, but maybe Otakus, maybe they're just a little bit of a showman, taking it to that game 5, giving us a little bit of a show here.
Yeah, Blaze, you're going to expect them to take it just because of the momentum that they have on the advantage, but, Otakus, they could change it up, they could spice up their gameplay, and it could completely go the other way.
Shire's already off to a good start. That's going to be a shot on target. Drummond with a save. Stenos now out of that offensive side. Can they get off to a good start? That would go such a massive mile past one. Stenos goes. No second player outplayed just yet. Drummond has to be careful of the last man back. Gets to save Felix. He's posted up on that opposing side. Is stealing that boost. So for now, it's not really going to lead to anything. That could just come in handy later on if you do manage to boost starve them. Mickey able to get a pass 2 for free. Now a shot coming out of Stenos, but if you get bums, Bonesy will just clear it out easily.
Maybe only 40 seconds into the game, but Otakus, you know what? They definitely are looking a little bit better on the offensive side. The attempts of passing plays, maybe no one was there to connect to the shot. It definitely is there, and Blaze still trying to find that threatening offensive attack that we've not seen just yet. But 0-0 with a minute gone, and it's still anyone's, and I honestly couldn't pin who's going to score the first goal.
Oh, it might just be Mickey Boy. He could just prove it himself right here. Stenos has a second go off to the backboard. Decent, smart play. And indeed, it is very smart as he's able to put it in the second go. He could just rip a shot immediately here. But you have Shires and Bonesy both trying to convert on that ball. And it's not going to work out. Otakus take the lead.
I talk about I don't know who will score first. Stenos is like, okay, fine, I'll put a goal at the back on there. This time it's not in his own goal. He does find the opening goal in game number 5 for Otakus. And yet again, Otakus finally find the lead in the game.
That's a good start, but we all know what Blaze is capable of now. In the first 2 games, we weren't really able to pinpoint what they were capable of. Right now, we're very much able to see, well, they went 1 goal down. They won 4-1 in the end. Might not be able to win 4-1 as a goal could just come through. Bonesy out to the side. Felix now 1v1 scenario against Stenos off to the backboard. Stenos with a good hit out though, and that is going to relieve the pressure for at least a little bit. Or are they going to struggle to close it out? Seems to be the case that they are very much struggling to get it out, but this massive boomer and the 15 sensor could just mean them clearing it away.
I must say, credit to Otakus. The defense has definitely strengthened up a little bit ever since the last 2 games that we saw. But Blaze just not finding what they had in the last 2 games. And if they can't find that in this game number 5, then at this point, they might as well just give Otakus the game number 5 and the series win.
Yeah, you can win 2 in a row. Obviously now proven on both sides, it's not going to matter whatsoever. It all matters what victory you get. Goal differential is obviously not going to make a difference right now in the playoffs. Shires off to the side. He goes. Drummond intercepts, and Felix a little bit awkward just whips that up right in towards the center. Making more with a shot. Bonesy has been so solid in defense, makes the save this time as well. Now actually goes down to the other end. Can he get something going? Can he get an opportunity on the board for Blaze, which they are able to complete upon? Not quite yet as a bomb comes through. The net is open for a brief moment. Never mind, scratch that. Not a brief moment. It's open for an eternity, and Shires puts it in.
Shires finding that goal for Blaze. I do believe it was Felix, who bumped the player in the right-hand corner, definitely stopping Otakus from at all having a chance of defending that. But we go 1-1 in game number 5, High Fury, and it's anyone's game.
It literally is an infield pass coming through once again. The lead has been held for a decent amount of time, but all that does is just make this a shorter game, realistically. Feel it all being tied up. Felix looking to change that. Stenos gets in the way. Mickey Boy now with an awkward save, or an awkward hit rather, not making one whatsoever. Bozy with a miss. Shires also in an awkward position. What is going on? Both teams making awkward reads and making awkward saves, and this ball just hanging there for a eternity. Nobody able to get something going on it, and finally it's Blaze who clear it out.
And both teams are going back and forth with this pressure. It's just whoever can break that shot in the back of the net first, but so far both teams definitely looking strong. But as I say that, Stenos, he's gonna slam that at the top of the goal, and Drum Hunter assisting him. And you know, as I speak about goals, Stenos is just the man to step up for Otakus.
It's absolutely ridiculous right now. This man is carrying his entire team in the offensive side on his back. To the defense, it's a little bit more spread out. Stenos in the attack has been such a pivotal part, basically doing it all solo. And that shot was so unexpected, making out from a distance. Easily saved for Felix, but is that going to be a good enough save? Stenos has a read, not really going to be a follow-up touch possible out of him. Felix once again off the side wall, cleared it out. Mickey Boy might be able to combine with Drum Hunter, but it seems as if Drum Hunter thrown it too far away, and into the last minute we head. Mickey Boy might just start that minute off with a goal, not quite, and it's time for Blaze to get moving.
Yeah, Blaze, they really need to find themselves another goal if they want to go to that OT to give them that chance, but at the stage this game's going so far, Otaku's definitely looking very strong, but in 40 seconds, anything can happen, and Blaze can definitely bring this back.
As Shires off to the side he goes. No follow-up quite yet as he baits Drum Hunter in center field position right now. Steeno's able to get the clear out. Mickey able to get a 50 after that. Just not really looking that great right now for Otakus. This is the position that they very much struggled in to get it out of that defensive side. Shires with 47 boost, very much able to continue this offense. Drum Hunter gets a good 50 on it. Last man, he had to jump in there. These final 10 seconds are going to be pivotal. Is a comeback going to be possible? Felix, first job is to get it out to the side. He does manage to do that, but his teammates in the center. That is going to be GG. Oh no, not just yet. Actually, the ball's still up, but this should be GG right now. Oh my word, Otaku. That was a lot closer, but what a game it was. Game number 5 win from Otakus.
What a great series to cast as well. The first game of playoffs is a game 5. Blaze, they went 2-0 down in the series. They do bring back to a game number 5, but Otakus do come out on top, winning that game number 5 2-1. Honestly, I mean, well played to Otakus. I must say, Stenos, definitely the MVP, really stepping up for his team. Game number 1 and 5, he was the man who made them, who made the game win for them.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing from Otakus. They've really showed up massively. And you have to give them props for, well, being such mental fortitude. And honestly, it was absolutely amazing to see them lose 2 games in a row after winning 2 games, and then still being able to come back and really have that mentality to actually get going. Blaze, they're not going to be happy with this whatsoever, but, well, they're going to drop to the lower bracket, and that is what playoffs is. First game, the number 1 seed is already down there.
They may have lost the first game, but as we always do, we do interview a player from the winning team, and I think it's pretty obvious who we interview from Otakus, right? It's got to be Stenos.
It's not even a question at this point. Like, it's so easily said. Stenos has been such a pivotal part in the entire play for Otaku. So obviously, yeah, we want to get him in there for an interview. And it's really amazing to see that one player is really able to make that difference. And especially since we talked about it preemptively, that one player is able to have that effect. And then for one player to actually come through and show that effect, it's peak.
Yeah, I mean, in playoffs, it is when it matters. League play, you may have your ups and downs, but when it comes to the playoffs, everything matters. Every goal, every game, it all matters through the series. Everything will count. And you got to give huge credit to Otakus. They definitely did put up a great fight, and Blaze just not quite getting it, but they are not out of the playoffs. Blaze will just go down into the lower bracket as being the number 1 seed. They do, keep themselves, they get themselves that extra life. So, they're not completely out yet, but Otakus, they will remain in the upper bracket soon yet to find out who they'll play as we see the games unfold. But, I mean, Hyperia, if Stenos wasn't there, I don't think Otakus are winning it, to be honest.
I mean, that's a very bold statement. I tend to agree with it, though. It's always very hard to say if that player isn't there. You don't really know how the chemistry would go, but he has been a pivotal part of that entire team. It was an interesting dynamic for sure. Really, that defense being locked up tight, and then Steno just in offense getting on the room. Because the thing with that kind of player is he needs the space to actually get moving across the pitch. And talking about him, there he is as well. How's it going, Stenos?
Hey, hello, how you doing?
Oh my, what a series there right there. But well, obviously you got the victory in game number 5. We could just start off with the obvious. What happened in game 3 and 4?
I don't know. Like from my point of view, we weren't playing that bad. We were a little bit more passive, but from my feeling, we were playing really slow and slowing down the tempo in game 1 and 2, and it seemed to really work for us. So I was like really surprised that in game 3 and 4 we sort of found ourselves trying to up the tempo, but not having the boost, not having the positioning, not having the speed to keep up with it. And yeah, that was just they just got into their game, and we allowed them to get some momentum, and that was rough. It was a nail biter in game 5 for me.
Yeah, very much was. And well, how were the comms? That's always something that I think is a pivotal part. When you guys lost that game number 4, were you guys kind of down in the dumpsters, or were you still incredibly positive about the entire ordeal?
Mickey is doing a great job of keeping us happy. Sort of like he's like nonstop, like, yo, calm down, mind reset, and he's like continuously there to like be in our head. Like it's gonna be okay. Like we can do this. And in game 5, after the 1-0 lead, our momentum just skyrocketed, and even after the little bit of a whiff for the 1-1, we managed to stay strong because we're still even and we had good momentum. So we managed to put it through.
It was an absolutely phenomenal series. I'm sure Buddha's got some questions for you as well.
Yeah, I've got a question for the beginning of the game, of the series, sorry, and at the end. Obviously, first of all, going into the first game of playoffs, what was, the talk and the mindset going into this first game?
To be honest, we thought we were gonna win. Like not because we wanted to win. We actually thought we could do it, just for the fact that during our regular season we've been matched up twice against Blaze, and I think one time we won 3-1, and one time we lost 3-1. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but I think at least. So we were like a little bit even, but I was like, we also had such highs in like certain games. So if we just showed up in form, I thought that we were gonna win. And in game 1 and 2, it definitely like, yeah, I thought we definitely were the better team. But in game 3 and 4, they decided to play Rocket League as well, and we got it really tough.
Yeah, for sure. Game number 1 and 2 was phenomenal from your team. I must say, it's a bit obvious of this question, but going into game number 5, before game 5 started, was there any changes that you made as a team, or what was said to go into this game number 5? Because when Blaze run that reverse sweep, something needs to happen for you to to get back into it.
Yeah, our first idea is that two things. The first thing was that we needed to focus more on power on our balls, because we kept being like held on the midfield by either Bonesy or Felix most of the time, with Shire staying in our field a lot of time waiting for those passes. So we were like, even if we like bang the ball half hard, they're gonna catch it and set up their next attack. So we needed to get like solid bangs towards enemy backboard, making sure that we can actually lock them down in their defense. And the second thing was that we should do what our muscles tell us, and not what our head says us, because we're all thinking a lot during this game instead of just doing what we're supposed to do. And I noticed immediately at the start of game 5 that as a team we were playing as we're supposed to and not using our head. We were just in the right position. We were able to challenge the balls, and again I scored like 3 open nets, but those open nets were just like forced open nets, being in a good position, good communication, and stuff. So I was really happy to see that happen in game 5.
Yeah, for sure. And I must say, well played to you and your team. And congratulations as you do advance to the upper final, and definitely well deserved. And, just to comment, it may be open goals, but as you said, being in that position at the right time is what matters. But I do believe, that's all the questions I have for Stenos. If you don't have any, then I'm pretty sure that wraps up the first series.
And that very much will. Thanks so much for coming in here, Stinos. And maybe we'll talk to you later tonight if you do manage to show up once again and hop in here right with us. But for now, you can have a tiny little break, wait for the next match to finish. Once again, thank you so much for coming in there. And well, with that, we're also directly going to a break, and we shall see you back all in a little bit.